China Power, 15th of February 2024, India-China relations are not anticipated to advance significantly. China is arming Pakistan to wage war against India and is supporting terrorism while pursuing a divide-and-rule strategy against the Indian subcontinent. Additionally, China is funding terrorism. Significant advancements in the India-China relationship are improbable over the next year. The two nations' animosity escalated significantly after a confrontation transpired along their contentious border in 2020. Since then, despite over a dozen sessions of negotiations, no resolution has been reached, and only minor progress has been made. Although escalating the situation may not be in either India's or China's best interests, the risk is tangible. Multiple factors contribute to the emotional dispute between the two Asian superpowers. One is the escalating power asymmetry between the two nations, which heightens the level of insecurity in India. India is an emerging power with a rapidly expanding economy, but China's ascent has been considerably more remarkable and consequential. The ability of China to exert its immense economic control and influence both regionally and internationally has placed India under tremendous pressure. On several occasions, Beijing has exerted this political pressure against India. An instance of this is how China, commanded by Xi Jinping, rejected India's application for membership in the Nuclear Suppliers Group, NSG, notwithstanding a personal request from Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Xi Jinping. For several years, India has endeavored to become a member of the NSG, a control regime for nuclear technology, to integrate with the Global Non-Proliferation Framework. In a similar vein, China has consistently employed its sway to obstruct India's endeavors to include individuals in Pakistan on the United Nations watch list whom India seeks on terror-related charges. In addition to this political pressure, the increasing disparity in military power is also significant. US-China competition has led to a rapid expansion of China's military capabilities. As an illustration, China has developed 2 stealth fighter aircraft simultaneously, a feat that distinguishes it from all nations except the United States. India was once delighted to be the only Asian nation to operate aircraft carriers. Still, China now has 2 operational pages, and the displacement of its new class of aircraft carrier is nearly double that of India's. Additionally, Beijing is constructing naval vessels faster than India. These carriers will almost certainly commence operations in waters closer to India shortly. Even though India has yet to issue an official statement to the public, the unprecedented and recent expansion of China's nuclear arsenal will likely begin to erode India's deterrent capability. The military power disparity between India and China can be attributed, at least in part, to years of neglect and underinvestment in India's conventional military capabilities. An Indian media report, citing a senior defense official, claimed that there was a severe shortage of assault rifles, carbines, sniper rifles, main battle tanks, light tanks, infantry combat vehicles, and various types of helicopters. In the interim, the Indian Navy is facing challenges in maintaining its inventory afloat due to the rapid depletion of its submerged fleet. Numerous of India's 15 tactical submarines, which ought to have been retired years ago but have been maintained operationally through modifications and restorations, are still in service today. Likewise, the Indian Air Force is beset by severe shortages. In addition to critical deficiencies such as rotary wing aircraft and mid-air refuelers, the Indian Air Force operates with only 29 squadrons instead of a fighter squadron complement of 42. India has been increasingly concerned about the potential for a dual-front threat, wherein China and Pakistan collaborate to exert military coercion on India. The lack of a delineated and contested border between India and China exacerbates these insecurities. Even though the border dispute has a lengthy historical context, China has made progress recently. This resulted in a 71-day standoff in the Doklam region of the India-China-Bhutan Tri-Junction in 2017. More recently, in 2020, China seems to have intentionally sparked a conflict in the Galwan River Valley, which claimed the lives of dozens of individuals. The military forces have not disengaged despite the passage of over 3 years, 19 rounds of military-level negotiations, and numerous meetings between the foreign ministers, and even between the two leaders during side events at other summit meetings. Regular deployment of over 60,000 soldiers remains ongoing on both sides of the border, thereby introducing a significant potential for escalation. The lack of indications that either party has much flexibility renders resolving the border dispute improbable shortly. The deterioration of India-China relations has made China feel more insecure in response to India's actions. India has intensified its collaborations with the United States, Japan, and Australia, notably via the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, or Quad, much to China's anxiety. Nevertheless, India finds these relations unsettling, as intermittent developments serve as evidence. The Indian stance regarding the Russian incursion into Ukraine and its ongoing machinations with Moscow indicate that despite New Delhi's efforts to strengthen its alliances with the United States and its other Quad partners, Russia will remain an essential security ally for India. The fact that India is strengthening partnerships with the United States and its allies, notwithstanding its unease, reveals much about New Delhi's apprehension regarding the strength and conduct of China. However, this also implies that the bilateral relations between India and China will become even more arduous. China initially derided the Quad as sea foam that would quickly dissipate, but as the grouping has gradually strengthened security alliances throughout the region, Beijing has become more critical. Their dynamic progressively transforms into a tangled security dilemma due to the escalating tensions caused by their reciprocal reactions. Therefore, relations between India and China will likely persist in their troubled or deteriorating state. The probability of resolving the border conflict or the ongoing tensions between the two nations is exceedingly low. Furthermore, the possibility of escalation persists so long as military forces are gathered at the border.